Next up is Lindsey Mayes. She is in the Biochemistry and Molecular Pharmacology program. She works in the lab of Dr. Emad Alnemri, and the title of her talk today is Flipping the Switch: How Can We Stop Inflammation Before It Goes Too Far?
I'd like you to think about the last time you had a cold or the flu. You probably experienced some coughing, sneezing, maybe even a fever. Well, all of these symptoms are actually methods your body uses to fight an infection. For example, a fever heats up your body temperature ever so slightly that it kills the virus or bacteria living inside the body. Now, these symptoms are due to inflammation, which is basically an emergency flare alerting the body that it's been infected and it needs to defend itself from this infection. Luckily for us, though, after a couple of days, the fever goes away, the coughing stops, the inflammation has effectively removed the infection, and you can go on with your normal life because the inflammation has turned itself off. But what if this inflammation doesn't turn off? Although inflammation is important in fighting infections, as I've just described, excess inflammation contributes to a wide variety of diseases such as Alzheimer's, arthritis, diabetes, and cancer. So it's extremely important that we have a better understanding of how inflammation works. But unfortunately, this is still very much a mystery to scientists today. That's why, for my PhD research, I'm trying to better understand how inflammation is regulated. How can we flip the switch and turn off inflammation before it goes too far and progresses to a chronic condition? We can study this in the lab in a petri dish with immune cells and infect these cells with different viruses or bacteria and measure the infection and immune response. Through these experiments, I've actually discovered a protein that's important in regulating inflammation. Think of a grocery store right before a snowstorm. You probably have a large influx of customers coming in, rushing to get their last-minute bread, milk, and eggs. And in response, the grocery store manager can open up additional checkout lanes so that way the extra customers can flow through freely and get home safely. When there's less customers, they can close those extra lanes. The protein that I've discovered is kind of like the grocery store manager because it can sense when there's an imbalance between the inside and the outside of the cell. In response to this imbalance, the cell is able to open channels, or grocery store checkout lanes, to allow for better flow through from the inside to the outside of the cell. When the cell is balanced, it's happy, and happy cells are actually able to turn off this excess inflammation. This is really exciting because we can use this protein as a target for therapies to flip the switch and prevent inflammation before it progresses to a chronic condition. Thank you.
Thank you, Lindsey.